What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 94. And today we're going to talk about the week that was in the quarterfinals of the 2023 Bigs playoffs. With me this week, first from Denver, Colorado, the man who did all the research for us on these two matchups, Jason Ashby. Jason, how are we feeling this week, my friend?
I'm feeling great, Joe. Yeah, I was happy to do the research this week because I had nothing else to do since I'm sitting here in the constellation bracket. So I got to watch all you guys sweat it out and fight it out and see what went down. And it was very interesting to see how these two matchups went. And I'm really excited to see how these semifinals that we're currently in right now finish up. But it was fun to watch.
It was fun indeed. A lot of stress going on, especially from our other co host down here in Matawan, New Jersey. In fact, just down the hallway from me, Ben Nisman. Benny, you had yourself a very nostalgic matchup this week with a high school friend of ours in Henry Collins. How are we feeling coming out of that, my friend?
Feeling great. Thank you for the introduction, Joe. And obviously, yeah, a ton of reminiscence going on with me and Henry. It's his first year in the league, and he got this far, and it's incredible. And we'll delve into that a little bit more. But I'm obviously excited to be still playing. It was an intense ride to this point, and a lot happened through and through. And on the other side of the bracket, amazing playoff as well. Just one that you can remember for a really long time. So we really got to get between the lines, as they say on this one. So, Joe, as always, please lead it off, set the table, my friend.
Let's get going, boys. It's the playoffs in 2023. We are diving right into it. Jason, I know we're starting off with our co-host matchup here against Henry Collins. So let's dive right into this thing. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm calling this the Ben rematch because this was Ben and Henry. And look, you know what? Henry Collins hat tip of all hat tips to you for making it into the playoffs as the rookie, and putting on what was an absolutely Cinderella story season. But he ran into our co-host and our commissioner, and he kind of schooled him in this matchup, as I say. Looking at Sunday was crazy. So Ben was leading in doubles and Henry took that, and Ben was leading in triples and Henry tied that. Ben led in RBIs and Henry took that, and Ben you led in whip and Henry took that. So it was 14-6 going into Sunday, but when it all comes down to it, especially here in the playoffs, a win's a win's a win, right? So it doesn't really matter. It was just interesting to see. I have to imagine you were getting pretty nervous there on Sunday.
No, actually, Jason, I wasn't. I counted out the stats and I noticed what needed to be done in order for him to get the W. We'll get into it more, but he needed to flip something like five in Taiwan. It was something like that. And I could accept him winning doubles, and even flipping triples wouldn't have mattered. The one thing that I couldn't risk was batting average. It would have taken a really horrible day from me and a really awesome day from Henry. And I didn't think that it was even worth the risk. So I just benched all my hitters on Sunday, and all but one pitcher on Sunday, which we'll get into as well. But yeah,
Yes.
no stress on this one, actually. I had one Monday, I had one Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like even Friday, I think I had one less at bat than him with the same amount of hits. So like even when I won, like even if I won by a little, I still won the day on pitching and hitting on every single thing. So it was a no-brainer for me to bench it out on Sunday.
Yeah, it was an absolute schooling over the rookie. Close categories, real quick. Ben, you win by the win, three losses, and four relief appearances. Henry won by two doubles, three RBIs, two errors, two saves, 0.00084345 on the whip, which I have to. You mentioned the one pitcher that you threw on Sunday was Camilo Duval, who had
Yeah,
a 450 whip that day, and I have to imagine that's what did whip
yeah,
in.
that's what the mhm.
Yeah.
Was
I
there any
thought that
thought to
was
leaving him off the bench, or was it just a mathematical thing about relief appearances? Or
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it was relief appearances also. I mean, he even needed all seven to come in to tie the category, but that's what it would have taken. I was like, okay, maybe this guy does flip whip, but Henry could get whip anyway with just a lot of good pitching on Sunday. So let me throw my guy just to at least protect that stat if he does come in, or if he doesn't come in and shit the bed, it doesn't matter.
right?
yeah, no, it was absolutely brilliant. On your bench, and I'm not counting Sunday because, like you said, you benched everybody. So not counting Sunday, but on your bench, you went 13 for 46.
Oh, well, it's not ideal. Is it was it like a 307?
278.
283. So 283, 6 runs, 4 doubles, the triple, a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. The triple would have flipped the category, and you needed 2 of the doubles to tie that category.
None of that
No,
matters at this point because, like
no,
you just said, a win is a win is a win. Like we're
Exactly.
not
right.
we're not concerned with what could have
Yeah,
changed
and believe me, I
categories
know.
here.
Like the
Like,
triple was on Blackman on Friday,
On Friday. Yep.
or
yeah,
yeah, and then on Saturday he hit a double, and then on Sunday I think he hit a double again.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at what got benched on Sunday, it was a 2 home runs, 6 RBI day. Hell, I could have won RBI just by playing Soto on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
um,
Richard
this
had a bomb too.
yeah. Go ahead. Why don't we get into
Yeah,
the pickups?
Let's look at the moves real quick. You use all 12. A bunch of them were for this current week. You dropped Kyle Nelson and Aaron Loop for Wandy Peralta, an inning, 2 strikeouts, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. And Aaron Bummer for an inning and a third, 4 strikeouts, an 0.75 whip, and a relief appearance. Drop Michael Tonkin and Bummer for Brent Suter, 2 innings, 2 walks, a strikeout, a 9 and a 2 as an opener against the Giants, and Andrew Monasterio, 1 for 4 with a double and 2 strikeouts. Drop Bryce Wilson for Nick Ramirez, an inning and a third, a win, and a relief appearance. Drop Monasterio for Tanner Banks, 2 innings, a walk, a strikeout, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. Dropped Banks for Bummer, an inning, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 3 whip, and a relief appearance. Dropped Phil Maton for Miguel Castro, an inning, a strikeout, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. Dropped Nick Ramirez for Bryce Wilson, a third of an inning, a walk, a 6 whip, benched. And then Sunday, dropped Miguel Castro, Wandy Peralta, and Kendall Graveman for Trevor Stephan, Enyo De Los Santos, and Alex Vestia. I imagine those are all for this coming week.
Yes.
12 heads, 1 hitter, 10 relievers, and 1 opener.
6 relief appearances out of those, and you won the category by 4. That's where it is.
Yep, that's absolutely just brilliant.
Yeah, there's more than that. I mean, the fact that 3 of my wins came from relievers, one from Nick Ramirez, one from Wani Peralta, and the other one from Camila Duval.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're getting wins from the bullpen and pickups that you made, like those little plays right there, they become a lot louder if you win that category, either by one or at a certain point during the week when you're like, I got this thing. He needs to do a lot of chasing the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I know it feels good when you pick up a reliever and he gets a win. It's like that. I did not, because you don't pick up a reliever thinking he's going to get a win. You can't.
No,
So
no.
it's like a happy accident.
Yeah, and the fact that one of them, I think it's Peralta, is someone that I just kind of like waited on. Like I held on to him, and then he got the win later on. It was either him
Yeah.
or Nick Ramirez. One of them that I was like, oh, he came in and he didn't come in the next day because he came in obviously the day that I picked him up for the double header, and then he's off the next day, and then he comes in again and he gets me a win. It's like, oh my god, like it's huge that I didn't just like drop the reliever because I got my relief appearance. I said I
Right.
could still get him another day this week. Let me see what he's got, and let me roll the dice that he doesn't have a bad day, and I fall into a win that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now he's injured, so he's right back off the team at some point, I would imagine. Like he dealing with some triceps stuff. So we shall
Yeah.
see if that triceps stuff continues to rear its head for you. But
Mhm.
Stuff. Key players. You choose. I have either Soto or Arias. Who do you like?
I'd probably Arise.
Yeah, 400 to 400 to 5 runs, a double, 4 homers, 4 RBIs, a steal, no walks or strikeouts, which I thought was kind of fascinating.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, like he just got hits
He
every.
hasn't struck out since the 9th of September,
Yeah.
and he hasn't walked in that time either. But wow, that's
Yeah,
just impressive.
he just makes contact.
Yeah,
Yeah. No matter what, like McNeil is very similar to him in that way.
Yeah,
Just like just fight on. It doesn't. It makes sense that they were both batting champions last year, but yeah, they don't strike. Their goal is to make get the ball and play, get the ball and play, no matter what. But Arise was doing damage with the slugging as well. Like he was doing stuff that I didn't expect him to do this week, which was
four
a big
homers in a
part.
week from that guy is a lot.
Yeah,
yeah. How many does he have on the season at this point?
I guess it's like
10.
11.
10.
10.
Very
So like
nice.
almost half of those was just in this
Yeah.
past week.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's a question for you, because I'm going to start asking these questions now as the season begins to wind down. Luis Arise or Christian Walker in 2024? Ben?
Probably Arise.
Yeah, going with what they're going with this year, I got to go with the Rise.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Speaking of Jeff McNeil, he's certainly a candidate for least valuable hitter along with Charlie Blackmon, but McNeil had the error 133 with a 235, 3 runs, a homer, 2 RBIs, a walk, 2 strikeouts, and an error. Blackmon, again, we talked about the triple on the bench.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he really didn't do much of anything either this week, but everybody else did something. So it was a good offensive week for you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Brandon Nimmo had a good week as well. 3 doubles and the triple.
Yeah.
320 and 393. That's a good week
Yeah,
out of the guy
and
too. And
he's
he's
that he
Go ahead,
hit that
Benji.
triple. He hit that triple early in the week, and that was a moment when I was like, oh my God, like I have a good chance at this thing now because now Henry would need 2 triples by the end of the week to win that category. So yeah, that was a big hit for him. I remember you and I talking about on the porch, we were saying, like, if I was going to have a playoff team, like, if this is over a month ago, like, who would be a must play? And we said, well, the obvious, and Soto and Arenado and Arise and Will Smith. Like, those are the 4 that have basically been the stars of the show. The next guy in would be Nimmo, and he really cashed in. He hasn't been horrific. He hasn't necessarily been worth that amount of money. He's played good defense for the Mets, I suppose, this year. But for Nimmo, he's had kind of a down year, but he had a super hot week.
I'm going
And
to
he posts up.
disagree that he's having a down year, man. 25 home runs out of this dude with a 275 batting average. Like,
No, I hear you. I hear
runs
you.
scored
But
are down from the 100 last year. He'll probably end up getting somewhere near 90, but
yeah,
that's
I,
more indicative of the lineup behind him than it is anybody else.
I
Exactly.
agree. I agree. And his on base has been solid this year as well. Like he's got a 380 on base. Um, his walks were really down this year though, comparatively. Like I was kind of hoping that he would just draw a little bit more. And I feel like
He's
if it's a
got,
first
got
pitch
just as
strike,
many walks as he had last year.
yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. I always felt like with Nimmo, and especially this year, if he was down 1 strike, like the first strike, then the next thing it's like going to be a 4-3. Like he's going to ground out to second, or he's going to strike out. Like he doesn't really do great down in the count, but no, he has had a solid year for sure.
His
Just
strikeouts are up.
Yeah, a little bit, and that sort of plays to the fact that he's got 8 more homers, so maybe he's swinging a little bit harder. Or, you know,
Yeah.
same
he
number
struck
of
out.
RBIs, same number of doubles. Just the run total is down, and that's to be expected when Pete's hitting 220.
Yeah, he struck out 140 times this year, going into with a week and a half to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 30, 25 more than he struck out last year, but the on base percentage and average are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
What about on the pitching side, Jason?
Yeah, on the pitching side, the Cy Young we're giving to Kenta Maeda, 7 innings, a win, a homer, a walk, 8 strikeouts, a 2.57 and a 0.71 whip. And the Cy Young, I'm giving to Merrill Kelly, even though he made my day because he got blasted by the Mets. 5 innings, a loss, a homer, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 12.60, and a 2.
He's had a good season for you though, Benj.
Yeah.
This has been the guy, huh?
Yeah, no question. Obviously, it was a must play. And how many pitchers did I even play this? Starters did I even throw this week? Three? I guess four if you count Suter as the opener. Like
Yeah.
I had to take some major risks. And yeah, Kenta Maeda in Chicago to play the White Sox after Merrill Kelly gets bombed by the Mets. Like that was a tough decision. Like I was like, shit, should I really start this guy? It's only what it was Wednesday at that point. No, Thursday. It was Thursday, and I needed to start collecting innings because I wasn't even halfway yet. I was just thinking, all right, I guess Maeda's the guy, and he pulled it off, and then came down to that Saturday night where I still need to make the minimum, and I'm thinking Mikolas versus Ranger Suarez, like I need to get to the minimum, and I obviously get to just with pitching one. If they both get blown up, now ERA comes into play, and I can only lose one game from doing it. It was tempting, but I just went with one guy. I was like, Ranger on the road or Mikolas at home. Just thought about that Philly lineup. I went with Ranger. It turned out to be the right play.
It
It
was
absolutely was.
absolutely the right play.
Yeah.
Now, here's the question I have for you, gentlemen, on this side of the baseball. The Camilo Duvall play is the interesting one. The one on Sunday to get the blow up and lose whip. It's not what I'm asking here. Camilo Duvall next year, him or Alexis Diaz?
I'll say Diaz because I think the Reds are going to have a better year than the Giants, like a full year of all the young guys.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I don't think that there's many other options behind him, behind Diaz. Whereas the Giants, I don't know their contract status, but I know they have both of the Rogers brothers that could come into close. Yeah,
Sure.
knowing what we would know right now, I would stick with Diaz too.
I mean, Duvall's got 37 saves on the season. That's a pretty impressive year. I think he's pretty much solidified himself as the closer there with the Rogers brothers backing him up. But the reason I ask it this is because both of these teams were kind of running toward the wild card as a similar team to see what you guys would feel.
Mm-hmm.
Over on Henry's side,
Henry side, on his bench, he goes 8 for 48.
8 for 48. Wow.
the 167 is the one
X,
for
yeah,
six.
it's like,
Yep.
oh wow, nicely done.
Yeah, it's the sixes
I knew it
repeating.
was, I knew it was under 200, but wow, that was quick. 1 for 6.
It's 2 runs, a homer, 4 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. None of that shit plays.
Good job.
For his moves this week, he used all 12. He dropped Johan Oviedo for Gavin Williams, 6 innings, a bomb, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 450 and a 150 against the Giants. Dropped him and Scott Magoo for Miguel Diaz, 2/3 of an inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. He had Tom Cosgrove, an inning, a homer, 2 strikeouts, a 9 and a 1 in a relief appearance. Dropped Ernie Clement for Clark Schmidt, 5 1/3, a homer, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 506 and a 188 against the Red Sox. Dropped Miguel Castro for Matt Vierling, over 3, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Dropped Cosgrove and Pierce Johnson for Magoo, 2/3 of an inning, a homer, a strikeout, a 40-50, and a 6 in a relief appearance. Dropped him for Jake Irvin, 4 2/3, a loss, 2 homers, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 771 and a 171 against the Brewers. Dropped him for Mason Miller, 1 inning, a loss, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, an 18 and a 5 as the opener against the Padres. Dropped CJ Crone for Sawyer Gibson Long. What team?
Detroit Tigers.
Yeah. 5 innings, a homer, 3
I have a
walks,
different answer.
11 strikeouts, a 180 and a 1 against the Angels. Drop Miller for Joey Wentz, 4 1/3, a win, a homer, a walk, 7 strikeouts, a 6.23 and a 1.38 in a relief appearance. Dropped Gregory Santos for Drew Smith, a 1/3 of an inning, a relief appearance, and dropped Jurickson Profar for Yimi Garcia, an inning, a third, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a 150 whip, and a relief appearance. All told, 12 ads, 1 hitter, 4 starters, 5 relievers, 1 opener, and 1 bulk reliever. And a partridge
I
in a
heard
pear
a
tree.
lot of really ugly lines in there, though. Like there was a
Yeah,
40-50 in there, and there was that Mason Miller thing, and it just didn't sound good.
yeah. It was I- it was interesting. Like, and again, one hitter. Like, he spent all of his ads on pitchers.
Hmm.
And like even on Sunday, like his ERA was already like through the roof at that point.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if
All he could
what kind of
possibly.
pitching
Well, I mean, he ended
was
up flipping whips, so he did get something on Sunday. So,
yeah,
you know, strikeouts were locked up. He gave up 47 walks, my guy. Yikes, in 82 innings. That's a lot. That is a lot against Ben Nisman, and you're essentially just handing him that category when you do that.
yeah,
Mhm.
Why I kind of and Jason, I texted you before the week start. Well, let's finish this. Go ahead. Get
yeah.
to key
Let's
players.
let's hit the key players.
Yeah,
The
I have
MVP
a lot, so
The MVPs, I'm giving to two of them. They play for the same team in baseball. Andres Jimenez, 304 with a 333, 4 runs, double, a homer, 7 RBIs, 2 steals, and 3 strikeouts. And Josh Naylor, 409 with a 435, 6 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, and a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Both of
Josh
them were
Naylor had
really the
himself
only
a nice
contributing factor to this offense this week.
Josh Naylor with a nice season, 311, 17, and 93 RBIs this year. It's a pretty nice season. Him
Yeah,
or Spencer Torkelson next year, Jason?
Naylor.
Naylor. Ben?
probably Torkelson.
I think I'm gonna lean your way as well, Benji, but it's close this one. This one's pretty
Yeah,
close.
the nine steals I think helps too.
Yeah. Yeah. Pitching side.
The least valuable hitter is going to be our friend Lubob. 083,
Really? Okay. Yeah.
120, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, a walk, and 10 big strikeouts.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I mean, it just seemed like the superstars were not out to play in the week that Henry needed them the most. Take a look at Kyle Tucker here. He does get the one bomb, but a 105 average, a
Yeah,
190 on base. Look at George Springer, 182 average, 217 on base. That doesn't even include one of the days where Henry actually benched intentionally George Springer on a Saturday, and I think he went like 0 for 6. Like Henry did pretty darn solid. Like we talked about how his batting average that he left on his bench was really, really good. Like he did as much as he could with the team. The team let him down.
yeah. On the pitching side, his pitching wasn't great, but so I'm giving this the Cy Young to Devin Williams, who over 4 appearances, 4 innings, 3 saves, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 050 WHIP. Can't get much better than that.
And a good
Uh,
season for him as well. 35 saves with a sub 2 ERA. That is very nice.
yeah, and there were questions as to whether he could take on, a full year of closing because he'd always been the backup to Hader, and I think he proved what he could do.
He's also got 8 wins. 8 wins, 35 saves in how many appearances? 58? Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah,
That'll do.
yeah. Uh, the Cy Young, I'm giving to Gregory Santos, who's no longer on the team. An inning and 2 strikeouts, 27 and a 4. He also benched a save from him, which, you know, whatever. But I mean, Scott Magoo was bad. Yusei Kikuchi was bad. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm gonna go with this Mason Miller play, honestly.
Mason
Like
Miller.
was
Yeah.
he was
That
the
was a
opener for Oakland?
yeah on
Is that what
Sunday.
I'm gathering? Against
I
Yeah.
San
believe no, it's
Diego, yeah.
Saturday
He
on
he had just
Saturday.
come back from injury, and so they're like limiting his, watching his innings, and so they only
Yeah.
have to throw an inning.
Yeah, at that point, Henry didn't like. At that point, Henry needed wins, and an opener wasn't going to get him a win. He could only potentially get him a loss.
Right.
Right.
So there were quite a few that jumped in here that it was him going to the well. You say Kikuchi, and that start right there was a pretty big risk. But okay, like it's at home against the Rangers. The Rangers had been kind of a struggling team. But we've talked about how Nathaniel Lowe has been kind of a frustrating player to own for me. But guys, with one swing of the bat off Yusei Kikuchi, I mean, that was arguably the turning point in this matchup. My guy hitting a 3-run homer off his pitcher and pushing ERA and offensive stats a little bit further away. And
Yeah.
Henry, it wasn't just Kikuchi. I mean, he goes to Josh Irvin on Friday. That was a tough one. And I told him this also. I thought the fact that it was Monday and Charlie Morton was facing the Phillies. I realized Morton has been a solid pitcher for him all year, and I get it. That's one that I probably would have sat Morton. I definitely would have played Luzardo that evening, though. Like that one made sense to me, and he got bombed also. So, you know, who knew? But it was something that Joe had said after Monday was over, and I had batted 333 on Monday, and I had a couple. I think I had 4 home runs, even though I had one on the bench from Jeff McNeil. We were talking about before, and then he had like 3 hits on Monday, the day I benched him, obviously. But um, you can win you can't win. Sorry, this is what Joe said. You can't win the week on Monday, but you can lose it on Monday. And in that case, it was as close to that being true as possible because he was so behind the 8 ball early. And then every single day, it was digging himself deeper. And the fact that his offense wasn't bailing him out at all. Like it was just bad offensive day after bad offensive day. Whereas, like, the pitching, he kept on just going to the well and kept on blowing up. And then, yeah, Mason Miller, that final loss to the point where I was like, wow, I'm ahead by 2 losses now. I can even afford a loss and still be safe in this. But yeah, it wasn't an easy matchup to play because his offense, they really let him down. Because when we talk about Henry's offense, we said it was one of the most dangerous offenses, and it is. It's just one of those weird things where they just didn't perform. And on the other side, I was fortunate. Like I actually hit pretty well. And it was after a week where I've been playing so badly. I was playing against Jason. I made sure that I wrote this down. That on Monday, this is against Jason in week 22, mind you. This is not week 23, but in week 22, Monday, I start the week off by going 1 for 21. For all of you that don't know, that's a .48 batting average and a 259 on base. On Tuesday was 7 for 31. That's a whopping 226 and a 286 on base. On Wednesday, I followed it up, trying to impress you guys with a 6 for 35. It's a 171 average and a 237 on base. Then on Thursday, I actually showed a pulse and batted 9 for 27. That's a 333, 357 on base. On Friday as well, solid 11 for 34. It's a 324 and a 425 on base. On Saturday, it was 8 for 36, 222 average, 349 on base. And then on Sunday, I want to show everybody how good I am at fantasy baseball going to the playoffs. So I went 4 for 23. That's a 174 average and a 296 on base on September the 10th. This was a real slumping offense. And it was pretty due to break out. Like there was so many players that weren't good throughout the week going into 222 that weren't playing to the back of their baseball card. And it just seemed like there was a good chance that a lot of them could break out. And if I even played my players on Sunday, my average actually goes up closer to like 290 instead of in the 270s. So that was one thing that I thought Henry was actually working against, the fact that the team was so cold going into that week.
The one thing I noticed, especially when we were talking about it, but most of the moves that Henry made, these relievers that he picked up, were bad, and most of the pitching that he
Starters.
had was bad. Yeah, he still accumulated 4 wins, got close, but the 5 losses is not something you can take in the playoffs. You certainly can't give up 47 walks and 82 and a third and pitch to a 5 1/4. And before the week started, Jason, I texted you and let you know what my predictions were for this. And I predicted Ben to beat Henry. And you and Mike sort of pushed back and said, "Wow, that's kind of surprising. You would take that." And I said, "The experience is gonna win out. The experience is gonna win out. You have to play once here to really understand what needs to happen." And that's why I think this Mason Miller, the Scott Magoo, the other bad moves that he made, I think that's really where it ends up falling.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's
you can
the
go ahead.
go
Sorry,
ahead, Ben.
finish your
No,
point.
no, no.
No, 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 finish your point, please.
I was just gonna drive it home. That's all it is. It's just when you don't have the experience in this playoff, and there could have been, I don't know. We're seeing guys come off of rosters that are pretty important these days. I don't know if there was something else that could have been done, somebody else that he could have, going back to Yusei Kikuchi, Mason Miller, Jake
Josh
Irvin.
Irvin. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys. That's where I see the L coming from, is those particular losses, those particular moves that were not. Does playoff level make sense? Does that?
No, I think here's where I think it is though. They weren't moves that you're forced to make at that point during the week. It was just like, all right, let me keep going. And you think, okay, so maybe he's going for wins because he's got innings, he's got strikeouts. He can't really lower the ERA, but the he could hurt the whip even worse. He could get more losses. He could get more walks or when I still haven't made the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whereas I think acknowledging that I haven't made the minimum, make Ben pitch. He's got to pitch at some point. Whereas, like, he continues to shoot himself in the foot, I can still sit back and watch it. So it was aggressive play when it wasn't necessary yet. That's more, like just like Charlie Morton against the Phillies. It's Monday. Like, how many times have you just noticed that your opponent has a crappy Monday because he like played two guys on a Monday or even on a Tuesday, and now all of a sudden you're sitting pretty. Like, you don't have to necessarily play it out like that. Like, you don't have to go on an inning race or anything like that. Like,
Right.
you can just play on the backup, on the negative categories like home runs and walks and losses.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, and the other thing is, I will say that I was basically slam dunking on every single reliever I picked up. Like,
Yes.
I don't know who this guy Banks is, but the day I pick him up, two scoreless innings, a walk, two strikeouts, a one whip, none earned. The day I pick up Bummer, he gets an inning, no scoreless. I hold him on because I hold on to him because he's got a game in a couple of days, and boom, he gets another clean relief appearance. I mean, Castro, uh, Boop. I got the one Monday out of him, and he almost got the win. And then Julio Rodriguez hits a ball off his shoes to tie the game off. Some guy I think named Marte, and I didn't get that win. I found a way to get another win. But Nick Ramirez, boom, there's an inning there. Peralta, boom, there's an inning on the doubleheader. I'll hold on to him. Boom, there's another inning. Let me get the win from that. So I was just pretty much hitting home runs when on the day that I would pick the reliever. If we looked at my relief appearances, I probably got like maybe 10 to 12 innings just from them, maybe more, because I only pitched three starters. I'm pretty sure it was Merrill Kelly, Suarez, and
Kenta Maeda.
Maeda. And that's it, So
Yeah.
the rest of the work was all done from the relievers, four appearances from Doval, pitched like garbage. But my point is, like, I need
30
the
innings out of your
bullpen to do the
bullpen.
work. How
30.
many?
30 out of the bullpen in
30 out of the
23
bullpen.
appearances.
Yeah, and it was just, kind of trying to just be patient in getting to the minimum. And I didn't get to the minimum until Saturday. I just had to figure a way into there and not take the losses. And I got some luck along the way where like some of the offenses were bailing out a bad performance by Suter on Saturday, for an example, and he ended up taking a no decision there. So just that was one way to try to just get to the minute. I knew who was opening. Okay, two innings here, two innings there, however I can get it. But yeah, it ended up working out well, and I want to thank Henry for making it an intense matchup because it's not like I slept through it. Even though I was winning, I still had to play every day like it was going to be my last. So he had an unbelievable season. First 21 nothing ever. That's probably not going to be broken, but who knows? And then I will say, best performance from a rookie manager since the time where we really changed this league in 2016 when we started making moves the day of and having a move limit. You could argue, Jimmy Dunlap had a great season in 2019, but I mean, he didn't go to the playoffs. Henry did, so incredible season, incredible showing. And it's, in my opinion, a future champion. I'm glad that he wants to come back and join because we got more exciting memories ahead of us. This is only the first part of the rivalry.
Absolutely. This is incredible. This addition to this league has been great. Jason, you got anything else on this?
Yeah, I think to your point though about being aggressive, like that's a great point because I feel like maybe look he was down big most of the week, but maybe he was trying too much to get that back and win all the categories. When again, we talked about that it's the playoffs. You only need to win by one to
Yeah.
to move on. It's not
Yeah.
like there's no tiebreaker that matters here really. So those are things that that again that now he has the experience. And look, if you're gonna face somebody in your first playoffs, I think Ben Nisman is the guy to face because like you're gonna get schooled. You're gonna learn just how to do it just by watching your opponent.
Yeah, that's a good point. And to be honest with you, the guy was still showing me that he would do things that, something I wouldn't do, and he was right. I mean, benching George Springer on a Saturday, your guy, George Springer, 0 for 6 with a strikeout.
Way to
Um,
go.
and the guy that he gets in, Zach Geloff, that's the guy that sits in the utility, 1 for 4 with a dinger. Like you're going to play Zach Geloff over George Springer and make that stand up. That's pretty damn impressive.
Mhm.
On Friday, he benches DJ LeMahieu. Okay, so that's a 2 for 5 on the bench. But the other benchings, Matt Chapman coming back only his second day after the injury, but 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Bryson Stott, he had the balls to bench him, 0 for 3 with a walk. I mean, he was really crushing it in fact, on Monday, there was a rainout which forced Zach Geloff in the lineup. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been playing. He goes 0 for 4 that day. But he doesn't play Eddie Rosario in the doubleheader on Monday. 1 for
Hmm.
7 with 5 strikeouts.
Yeah.
1
Yep.
for 7 with 5. Like everyone else is playing Eddie Rosario in the doubleheader against
Yeah.
Philly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He
He
sees he sees it. He sees the 1 for 7 to 5 strikeouts coming at him
Yeah.
right,
and dodges
Really
right.
the
impressive.
bullet.
Exactly. And because Luis Roberts' game was postponed, okay, I only have one guy to play. Zach Geloff is the guy to put in 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. That's unfortunate, but like we all would have done the same thing. Like there was things that he was doing with his offense, which was just like it showed the learning process. It's shown that he's actually developed consistently in this league, like from week to week. Sure, like a little bit of a maybe too aggressive on the pitching side, but
Mhm.
still like an extraordinarily impressive season. And this is, like you said, Jason, like it's a good learning experience to learn in the playoffs, but I'm sure he would have liked to go quicker, but I feel like he also knows like how important it is just to be top 6 and how exclusive that actually is.
The exclusivity is what makes this special. Being there as a rookie is almost unprecedented, but is certainly unprecedented in the era in which we are currently in. Uh, with all of that being said, Benjamin, congratulations on your first round win.
Thank
Moving
you.
on to the semifinals to face off against our fourth co-host, Mike Haber. How are
Yeah.
you feeling so far? It is Thursday, September the 21st. So how are we feeling?
I feel fine, especially Joe, and we've talked about this a lot off air that that matchup against Henry, winning that one is the one I really needed. Getting in this year, getting to the Final Four 3 years in a row, that's what I needed. It's really house money at this point. I gotta say this now because there's going to be a major rant next week from me next week. So stay tuned for that one. Win or lose, like you're going to hear it from me. But so I'll keep it short now. This is a must win for Mike Haber. Like he has got to find a way to get out of this matchup for so many reasons. Like this one is critical. It's been a dozen years, but he's got to find his way into the final here. So I'll get into it more. The reason how I feel like for me this is house money. Like if I do get in, it's like I can't. You could tell. I mean, the thing had over 100 hits. Me popping champagne is one of the shorts, and it's the Bigs podcast. But I was so psyched about that. This is just like I don't know what the hell I'm doing in the final because Mike Haber beat me twice and was the better manager and was the better team all season. He deserves to be in this spot. But obviously, I'm going to compete, try my hardest, and hopefully it falls my way. But at this point, it's on him. He's got to be the winner more than me failing and losing it for myself.
No doubt. And there's no way you're gonna be giving up at this point.
Oh.
You're gonna be fighting as hard as you possibly can for title number 4. But yes, I agree with you. This is a must win for Mike Haber. Let's move on to the next one, Jason. It is Bobby Russo against Josh Haber. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, this was a fun one to watch. Josh pretty much led the whole week through, and like it was weird because like after Friday, he was up 14-2. Like he was up huge late in the week. And then things started to fall back to the medium here. And he winds up with an 11-6 win. But again, a win's a win's a win, right? In the playoffs. And he moves on to the final four. So congrats to Josh. Looking at Sunday real quick, he came in with a 13-6 lead. Josh led in steals. Bobby tied that one up. Bobby led in errors, and Josh tied that by Bobby getting an error. Strikeouts from a pitcher were tied, and Bobby took that. Josh led in relief appearances, and Bobby tied that. Close categories. Josh wins by 4 homers. I guess that's close, and 2 wins. Everything else was pretty much decided. Bobby wins by a double and a save, and they tied in triples, steals, errors, and relief appearances. 4 categories tied, which I thought was pretty wild.
That's the difference in the whole matchup. I mean, if those 4 somehow fall Bobby's way, Josh still wins, but that's an incredible amount of ties, especially in the categories they are, right? Triple, steals, errors, and relief appearances.
Yeah.
This matchup was really just a pitching by Josh, and like how are you going to hold serve against his pitching? And we'll get into more of it. I know you were right in the middle of something. Jason, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. His pitching was magnificent. He did do the same thing as you. He benched his entire everybody on Sunday, so I'm not counting that in his bench stats. Except for Ketel Marte is the only one he started, and he hit a homer. So go figure. But so not counting Sunday's bench, he goes 4 for 33.
Wow,
1 for 8. That's awesome.
118.
It's 127.
121.
Yeah.
Nice job, Joe.
Thanks.
3 runs, 2 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, and 11 strikeouts. It's interesting. He benched everybody on Sunday, but like he had a double on the bench on Sunday, but also he had 11 strikeouts on the bench, so that would have flipped. He could have had innings and strikeouts, but he benched everybody. So it all worked out, obviously. But
he knew what he knew what he was doing when he was benching his team.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. When we closed shop, we weren't closing shop being like, oh no, like I was in 2019 against Mike Haber. Like it was just there's no way all these stats could be flipped the way they are. Like that was the play.
Right.
It does beg a question. I'm just going to throw this out there because we did see it twice in this matchup. Would there be any thought to a rule where you have to have a lineup every day?
I mean, I don't see why you would. The reason why it gets to that point is because of the play for these certain days. I mean, there are times where you're doing it and it takes a risk, and you're taking that risk we've seen, remembering, I think it was week 22 against Mike Haber, Jimmy Dunlap tried doing that, and Mike Haber's offense went nuts, and it ended up flipping average on base, and it knocked Jimmy out of the playoffs because he decided to do that. So it's so circumstantial when that happens, when you need it. It's just in this case, we were doing it knowing that so many of the stats, like for me at least, like Henry couldn't catch runs. Like I was up by 17 runs. Like there was no way, or like 12 walks. I don't think he's gonna walk 12 times, but
Right.
so,
Yeah, no, I hear you. It was just a thought of like if you have to play 9 guys in the lineup every day as a rule, but
yeah.
I tell you
I
what,
mean,
I remember the first. I don't remember who it was, but I remember the first time that I went up against somebody who benched all their players, and I went, "That's a thing. Like, why would you do that?" And now, several years later, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, bench your guys." Like, yeah,
it's a strategy.
yeah.
yeah, okay.
For Josh's moves this week, he used 11 ads. He dropped Edward Julian on Monday for Brian Wu, 5 2/3, a win, 8 strikeouts, nothing earned at 071 against the Angels. And Logan O'Hoppe, 3 for 5, 2 runs, a double, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, and a strikeout. That was on Monday. He'd asked me for my opinion if he should pick up Bo Naylor or Logan O'Hoppe. I told him to pick up O'Hoppe, so I think I get a part of a
He's
credit.
taking the credit for that pickup.
Wow. Sure.
Bobby Russo just threw his hat down and
Yeah, it's like, are
stomped.
you kidding me? That came from Jason.
O'Hoppe day.
Oh man.
Drops Shelby Miller for Shintaro Fujinami, an inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. Dropped Enyo de los Santos for Reese Olson, 6 innings, a win, a homer, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 115, a 1 against the Reds. I remember him texting me going, "My season hinges on Reese Olson," and he throws a gem. So good job there.
Wow.
Reese Olson with his 4.13 ERA and strike out an inning.
Yeah. I mean, the 4 walks
Okay.
weren't pretty, but everything else was just really good.
Yeah.
He dropped O'Hoppe for Lucas Sims, a third of an inning, a win, 2 walks, a 6 whip, and a relief appearance.
Walked into that ridiculous win.
Literally.
Okay.
Yeah. Got 1 out, walked 2 guys, and came away with a win. Dropped Caleb Ferguson and John Gray for Tyler Rogers, an inning, a 9 and a 2 in a relief appearance. Dropped Griffin Canning for Ferguson and Justin Lawrence for Lance Lynn. Those guys never appeared. He dropped Reese Olson for Taiwan Walker, who he benched. Dropped Tyler Rogers and dropped Tyler Rogers for Brad Boxberger, and then dropped Boxberger for Edward Cabrera for this week. For his key players this week, I'm giving the MVP to Austin Riley, 375, a 429, 6 runs, a double, a triple, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and an error. Xander Bogaerts was also really good this week, but Riley was just the triple did it for me. The least valuable hitter is going to be Lane Thomas. 095, 2 runs, a double, a homer, 2 RBIs, 3 strikeouts, and 2 errors from an outfielder. I feel like that's unusual to get 2 strikeouts or 2 errors in 1 week from an outfielder.
Yeah. Although I had him benched, but Jordan Walker got 2 errors in one day
Oh, there you go. Okay.
as an outfielder.
Wow.
So it
I guess that
happens.
happens.
I guess it could happen on the same play, right? So the guy
Sure.
misses the ball and then errantly throws it,
Mhm.
and then that's
Yeah.
2 errors.
Okay.
So,
But for his pitching, look, Logan Webb, Ryan Wu, Reese Olson, all 3 of them were really good. Logan Webb was fantastic. 8 innings, 6 strikeouts, a 113 and 050, no walks, but a no decision
in Colorado.
in Colorado. It was just magnificent. But Olson and Wu got the wins, so the 3 of them kind of combined to be just one really great start.
Logan Webb is having a really great season. 207 innings already, 187 strikeouts, a sub 3.5 ERA, and 10 wins. Him or I don't know, let's pick somebody on Bobby's team. Okay, let's not. I'm really unprepared for this. Him or Sandy Alcantara next year?
Oof. Webb.
I don't know. Probably Webb. He's shown more durability.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Plus, I think the Giants. I still don't believe in the Marlins. I know what they're doing, but I don't believe in the Marlins.
Incredible.
Yeah. They're doing
The
it without a hitter. Like they're doing it without anybody driving in runs. Amazing.
Yeah. The Cy Yuck is Colin Holderman because he's the only one who pitched poorly at all this week. Even though I mean, 3 appearances, a loss, 3 walks, 1 strikeout at 12 and a 233. But like, I mean, Josh pitched to a sub-1 whip. Like, so
Incredible.
yeah. The entire week.
23 ERA, filthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And that was and by the way, the ERA would have been better if he didn't have to go and start chasing other stats. Like at a certain point, he needed to play for other things. But at a certain point, I think he had thrown over half the minimum and it was like 1 earned run. He had like a 0.50 ERA at one point. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Bobby had given up 3 around the same amount of innings. Just like, well, at some point, Josh could crack here, and Bobby could just win. And Josh never actually really like started to like drop the ball.
Yeah, you're waiting for the blow up start there if you're Bobby, and it just never seems to come. It just doesn't happen.
No, but it did for Bobby. We'll get into that. On Bobby's bench, he goes 6 for 23.
Oh,
Wow, that's annoying. 262,
259.
261.
Good job, Ben.
Thanks.
3 runs, a double, 4 RBIs, 2 steals, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and 3 relief appearances. So he needed just the 1 steal, and he needed 1 other relief appearances to at least tie that category. So again, at the end of the day, it wouldn't have mattered ultimately, but still kind of hurts. For his moves this week, he also used 11, dropped Josh Rojas for Yan Gomes, 3 for 4, a run, 3 RBIs, but he added him like just as the game started, like seconds before the game started, so he couldn't get him in. Dropped Alec Thomas for Kevin Biggio, 1 for 2, 2 runs, a homer, 2 RBIs, and a walk. Dropped Chris Taylor for Jack Sawinski, 2 for 3 with a solo homer. Dropped Yan Gomes for Zach McKinstry, 0 for 5 with a strikeout. Dropped Heimer Candelario for Cianel Perez, an inning, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. Dropped McKinstry for Jason Hayward, 4 for 5 with 3 doubles. Dropped Biggio for Ji-Hwan Bae, 0 for 3 with a run, a walk, and a strikeout. And then Sunday, dropped Cody Bradford for Ryan Nelson, 3 1/3, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 540 and a 210 against the Cubs. That was the Sunday night game. Dropped Ji-Hwan Bae for Nick Pivetta, 6 1/3, a homer, 6 strikeouts, a 284 and a 063 against the Blue Jays. That was a risk. Dropped Jeff Hoffman for Trevor Story, 1 for 4. And dropped Jason Hayward for Brandon Williamson, who got beat up by the Mets. 4 innings, a loss, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a 675 and a 175. Meanwhile, Hayward on Sunday, by the way, went 3 for 5 with a double and a homer and 2 RBIs. So Sunday was not a good day for Bobby.
No, it doesn't sound like it was.
Yeah. His key players, I'm giving it to Willy Adames. The 238 isn't great, but 433 on base, 4 runs, 3 doubles, a triple, 5 RBIs, a steal, 8 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Bobby won runs, doubles, and walks, so he took care of all of those.
Wow.
Corbin Carroll didn't do anything. 185 with a 214, a run, an RBI, a walk, and 7 strikeouts.
Was this the week that Carroll was facing the Mets and like we just sort of shut him down for the entire series?
Yeah. I mean, look, over 10 over those 2 days. Like, yeah. On the pitching side, I guess the Cy Young is going to go to the aforementioned Nick Pivetta, the 6 1/3, 284, 6 strikeouts. Nobody else really blew the cover off the ball here. Kyle Gibson was okay, but he took a loss.
Yeah.
The least the Cy Yuck is Kirby Yates. He got blown up on Saturday. 2 2 2/3, a loss, 2 saves, a homer, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts at 13-15 and 150. But it was really the Saturday where he just got like killed.
Yeah, got lit up by Miami.
Yeah.
Why does he have like 5 saves this year? Why is that? Why is that a thing? Slightly annoying.
Yeah.
Benji, what do you got on this one? You watched this one from the other side.
Yeah, I had my own things to worry about, but I mean, you guys did brush on the fact that Josh had the lead the whole week, that he had a bench, he closed shop when he needed to. I mentioned that the ERA was just mind blowing what he was doing, and probably historical things as far as Monk, like the first 25 innings, how many runs he gave up. I mean, you can't count them on your hand, which is already insane. But I think it was something like 1 or 2 runs over the first 25 or so innings. Stats that I'd like to actually accumulate at some point just to prove how incredible this was. Unfortunately for Bobby, he walked into a buzzsaw in that way because I feel like Bobby's team probably would have competed pretty decently against other teams, but Josh had his foot on the pedal, and the fact that he started in such a way that there was no way Bobby could catch him. And it was getting interesting towards the end, but it almost felt like Josh had it in hand the entire way. He was just a stronger team offensively with both sides of the ball, basically.
It was 21 innings with 1 earned run. I just did the math through Wednesday that Josh had. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. It was an 050 something ERA. And I remember Bobby texting me and just saying, like, wow, this dude's really pitching his ass off. I said, it's only Wednesday. Like, you just got to wait for the blow up, and it just never came. Sometimes you just run into this kind of week. Like you said, Ben, it was a buzzsaw of Josh Haber, and he was
Yeah.
determined, just like Bobby was all season. Both of these guys were very determined. We're making the playoffs. Well, here we are now. Josh is in the final four. And
Mm-hmm.
he has given me one hell of a matchup so far this week. It has been
Yeah.
quite a lot of
And,
fun playing off against him, and I've been texting him all week as well.
yeah. I mean, look, when you bat 282 with a 357 average, a 223 ERA, and like you said, an under one whip, it's going to be tough right off the bat just to stop those stats. Like you're going to have to get basically every single counting stat. You're going to have to get inning strikeouts and wins. Bobby wasn't even able to get wins there. So, that one went to Josh. So Josh had it in hand. He was just dominating from wire to wire in this matchup from Monday through Sunday, unfortunately for Bobby. But Bobby's second trip to the playoffs since I mean he joined it 6 years ago in 2018. He got in as the sixth seed in 2019. He gets in as the sixth seed here in 2023. 2 out of 6 years, it's a 333 average into the playoffs. I think he should be really, really proud of that performance. If you look on the other side of it, Josh, I mean, yeah, it's been a long time, but it happened. It's his 17th year in the bigs, and now he's in the semifinals. Second year into 2 out of 3 years into the playoffs. 2021 we know about, that was his first one in 15 years. It took him 17 years. He's into the final four now. Amazing story. This is probably with Henry's story of being that like insane rookie showing with the 21-0. This is the other humongous story this season. Josh Haber into the final four for the first time ever.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Josh. You absolutely deserve it. You played your ass off this year. We're leading the pack at some point, I believe. And it's just a testament to you never know when you're going to get back. It took him 15 years to get to the playoffs. It took him an extra 2 to get to the final four, but he may not be back for another 15 years. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything else to add, guys? This has been an
Well,
amazing. Go, Benji.
yeah,
Hit it.
I was just gonna say. I mean, probably I'm gonna be echoing what you were gonna say. Is just This has been a really, really special season. Like it really turned out to be something incredible. These 4 teams And Costas texted me like, "Wow, the four veterans." And yeah, these are four basically the oldest managers in our league, include Jason in there, as far as the ones that have been there the longest. Throw in Mike Sherman, Ari Nisman, but they're not that many, But these are from basically the beginning. You and myself, Joe, in '05, Josh in '06, Mike Haber in '08. So there's a lot of history here, and it's apropos that it's the four of us at the end. And I'd like to think that we're here, we're at the end because we played our asses off and we played just a little bit better than those other 12, and that's why it's so exclusive. That's why it feels this amazing. That's why for me, if it if I win this week, it's just like more icing on the cake. Like this has already been an amazing season for me, and I'm so thrilled no matter what happens at this point. I'd be happy for anyone that can take home the trophy because it's truly earned, truly deserved this year.
No doubt. Icing on the cake, man. For you and me, we've been getting diabetes with all the icing we're getting on the cake. So, not for nothing, I am playing my ass off, but I'm really, really rooting for this Haber final. I really want to see an all Haber final so that we can put a new name on the trophy, or we
Yes.
can put a repeat name on the trophy from 11 years ago. I'm really hoping for that. Jason, thank you so much for being here and doing the research this week, man. How are you feeling heading into this final week? Who are you rooting for? Who are you picking to win the championship? That's the question we're asking tonight.
Mm.
The guy
Yeah,
outside of the playoffs, you have to pick who's going to win the championship, and then Ben, you and I will pick who we want to win other than ourselves.
I like I said, as much as I love you guys, I am dying for a Haber final. Like I think that would be just a tremendous way to end the season. Um, and if that's what happens, I gotta say, I think I like Mike's chances. I
MG,
do want to say also that I'm looking at it right now, and I just think it's really funny. Look, it's only Thursday, middle of the night, on middle of the evening on Thursday, but the scores are exactly the same in both your matchups.
Right.
looking at it too.
But so many close stats. I mean,
Yes,
everything
yes.
could just. I mean,
I just thought it was cute.
the weekend is where the matchup is won or lost
Absolutely.
most of the time.
You build your foundation for the first 4 or 5 days, and then you really have to pick apart how to win it. So,
Well said.
Benjamin, who's
Mm.
our finals, and who are you picking to win a championship if it's not you?
My thought is that Mike Haber versus Joe Schubert just should happen. I mean, those were the best teams all year. You've never seen that final before. You've only seen them in the first round. It was back in 2011 where things were a lot different. Our game had unlimited ads. You had to make the moves the day before. Completely different game. To see the two of you guys in the final would be just so awesome. It would be fantasy baseball chess at its best. So that would be what I think is going to happen. Uh, I lean towards you, even though Mike would have the tiebreaker on a tie, and we know how Mike has won with tiebreakers before 2012 final. Um, I think that I lean towards your team being a little bit more balanced and deeper for a win. So I would pick you to win it all. But the guy I'm rooting for to win it all is Josh Haber because he's never won the whole thing. He's never even been to a final. That would be the most incredible story that Josh Haber matches his brother with championships this year.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for as well. Like as loudly and as proudly as you just said it is exactly how I'm feeling about it as well. I want Josh to beat me. I want him to go to the finals and I want him to win his first championship here. That's the story that needs to be told here. But with that being said, I definitely want to see a Haber final. So I'm rooting for it. But that does not mean I'm going to allow it to happen easily, Josh. And I don't believe for 1 second that Ben is going to let Mike walk easily into the championship either. You boys are going to have to earn it, and whoever of the four of us it is will have earned it this season. I thank you both for being here so much. I thank all of you for watching and keeping us absolutely red hot. 100 watches on that short, man. I gotta do
Yeah.
another one with me. I'm gonna do one with
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I think that's the next one. One of us will get through to the final. Yeah, assuming that one of the two of us get into the final, it could happen again.
Sure. Thanks again for watching, guys. Until next time, it's been real. It's been fun. And it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.